Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you're not getting what you truly deserve? Like something deep inside you knows there's more to life, more peace, more love, more purpose, but it keeps slipping through your fingers? Maybe the problem isn't the world around you. Maybe it's the silent beliefs within you. This journey isn't just about motivation. It's about transformation. In this script, you'll uncover the hidden blocks that keep you stuck and awaken the inner power that finally leads you to the life you were always meant to live. Get ready. This is where it all changes. How to get what you truly deserve. Written and published by Stoic Guardian. Introduction. There is a soft, persistent whisper inside you. A voice that quietly wonders, is this really all there is? Not out of greed, not from ego, but from a soul that remembers more. More peace, more joy, more alignment. Something deeper than just goals or milestones, something more true. This isn't about getting everything. It's about finally receiving what resonates, what lights you up, what fits, not in the world's eyes, but in your own chest. You've worked hard, you've tried to be good, you've checked all the boxes others laid out for you, but still, there's a subtle ache, a longing that doesn't go away. That longing is sacred. It is not a flaw to be hidden. It is a signal, a soft compass, guiding you inward, towards something you've forgotten, but never truly lost. This journey is not about striving harder, it's about remembering. It's about releasing the noise and listening to the quiet knowing inside you. You deserve more than what you've been taught to settle for. And this gentle path is how you begin to receive it. Chapter 1. The quiet ache of wanting more. You wake up and everything seems fine. You go about your day, you smile, you function, you meet expectations, you stay busy, but underneath it all, something feels hollow. Not broken, just empty, quietly aching. You may have a good life on the outside, people say so, but inside, something whispers that you're not fully here, that you're not fully alive. It's the ache of wanting more. Not material things, though the world might convince you that's the cure. What you long for is something softer, something more whole, a feeling of being held by life, not just surviving it. You are not alone in this feeling. So many walk through life wearing masks of fine, hiding the quiet ache that never truly goes away. The ache that says, there must be more than this. This ache is not a flaw, it's not weakness, it's not something to silence. It's the soul's way of calling you home, home to yourself, home to your truth. Imagine your life as a garden. Above the soil, everything might look neat, but beneath it, the roots ache for water, for sunlight, for space to grow. And it's not because the garden is broken, it's because the garden is ready. Your desire for more is not greed, it is growth. It is expansion. It is life calling you toward your fullness. So breathe with it now. Place your hand on your heart and instead of resisting the ache, listen to it. Ask it gently. What are you trying to tell me? Sometimes the answer comes in a word, sometimes a memory, sometimes just a deep sigh. Let that be enough. Let that be sacred, because this is where healing begins, not by chasing something outside you, but by honoring the truth inside you. You do not need to justify your longing. You do not need permission to want more peace, more joy, more depth. It is already your birthright. But here's the shift. You cannot receive what you truly deserve until you stop pretending you don't need it. So let the ache speak. Let it break the silence. Then, gently, slowly, begin to turn toward it, not away. This is your first step, a sacred remembering you are not broken. You are simply being called to rise, to soften, to expand into the life that has always been waiting for you. I honor my longing. I trust my soul's whispers. I am ready to receive what I truly deserve, with open hands and a soft heart. Chapter 2. Unraveling the lie of not enough. There is a lie that buries itself deep within you, so quietly, so slowly, that you begin to believe it's the truth. The lie says you are not enough. Not successful enough, not smart enough, not beautiful enough, not kind enough, just not enough. And because this lie has lived inside you for so long, it shapes the way you see the world. It makes you question your worth in every room you enter. It makes you hustle for love that should have been unconditional. It convinces you to prove yourself over and over until you are exhausted. This lie is not yours. It never was. It was planted by voices outside of you, people who were hurting, systems that profit off your insecurity, comparisons that distort your beauty. But even though the lie is false, it can still feel so painfully real. It can shape the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. It can shrink your dreams. It can keep your heart closed, and worst of all, it can keep you from receiving what is already meant for you. Because if you don't feel worthy, how can you fully receive? Imagine this belief like a fogged mirror. You look into it, and all you can see is a distorted version of yourself. Blurry, unclear, fragmented. But the distortion is not you, it's the fog. And the fog can be cleared. You do not need to fix yourself. You need to wipe the mirror. You need to see yourself clearly, lovingly, gently. Beneath the layers of not enoughness is a soul that was never lacking, a soul that came into this world whole. The truth is, you were always worthy, even when you didn't feel it, even when you made mistakes, even when others couldn't see it. Your worth is not a currency to be earned. It is a light to be uncovered, a truth to be remembered. You can begin now. You can begin by noticing every time the voice of not enough whispers. And instead of obeying it, you can pause. You can breathe. You can say, "That's not my voice. That's not my truth." Then, gently, you choose again. You speak to yourself like someone you love. You stop measuring your value by what you do, or how much you give, or how perfect you appear. You begin to rest in your being, not your performance. And in that stillness, something begins to shift. You stop striving. You start softening. And suddenly, the space opens for you to receive what you truly deserve, not because you earned it, but because you remembered you were always worthy of it. Chapter 3. The Mirror Within. Seeing yourself clearly. There is a mirror inside of you, not made of glass, but of memory, emotion, and truth. It is the place where your inner world reflects who you believe you are. But for many of us, this mirror becomes clouded, fogged by judgment, shame, past wounds, and comparisons. Over time, we stop seeing ourselves as we are, and instead, we see a version shaped by criticism or silence. When we glance inward, we don't see the light. We see the cracks. We see the mistakes. We see the masks we had to wear just to feel safe. And slowly, the reflection becomes unfamiliar. We forget the softness that once lived in our eyes. We forget the dreams that once burned brightly. We forget who we are beneath all the roles we play. But you can return. You can wipe the mirror gently, with kindness, not force. You can look inward, not to judge, but to understand, not to fix, but to feel. This is the quiet work of coming home to yourself. It's not loud. It's not fast. It doesn't happen in one breakthrough moment. It happens slowly, in the stillness between breaths, in the softness of self-forgiveness, in the choice to sit with your reflection and say, I want to know you again. And in that choice, you begin to heal. You begin to reclaim the parts of yourself you once rejected. You begin to gather every version of who you've been, the hurting one, the strong one, the lost one, the hopeful one, and you say, you are all welcome here. This is not about perfection, it's about honesty. It's about seeing clearly and still choosing love. One way to begin this journey is through still reflection. Sit quietly, breathe gently, place your hand over your heart and ask, who am I when no one is watching? Let the answer rise, slowly, truthfully. Write it down, speak it softly, no need to judge it, just listen. The mirror within responds to tenderness. And every time you return to yourself with gentleness instead of criticism, the mirror becomes clearer. You begin to see the light in your own eyes again. You begin to trust yourself again. And in that trust, something beautiful unfolds. The more clearly you see yourself, the more clearly you know what you truly deserve. Chapter 4. Where deserving begins. Returning to worth. To truly receive what you deserve, you must begin at the root, your worth. Not the worth defined by your achievements, your productivity, or how others see you, but the deep, unwavering worth you were born with. Before anyone told you who to be, before life layered you with roles, you were worthy. Worth is not something to be earned, it is something to return to. It is your soul's foundation, but for many, that foundation was cracked early. A look, a word, a rejection, a silence, all small signals that whispered, you're not enough unless. And so, slowly, you began to perform, to shape yourself into someone acceptable. You learned to seek approval as a substitute for love. You learned to give more than you had. You began to believe that worth is something outside of you, something to chase. But the truth is, you were always enough. Imagine your worth as a golden thread woven into your being. No matter how tangled your life becomes, the thread remains. It might be hidden, but it is never lost. And now, in this quiet moment, you are being invited to return to it, to follow that golden thread back to your center, back to the version of you who didn't question their value, the child who laughed freely, the dreamer who trusted life. That self still lives within you, waiting to be remembered, not rebuilt. Healing begins the moment you stop trying to prove your worth and instead rest in it. A simple way to return to worth is through gentle affirmation, not loud declarations, just soft reminders. Every morning, place a hand on your heart and say, I am already worthy. I don't have to earn it. I don't have to chase it. I only have to remember it. Speak this even when you don't believe it, especially when you don't believe it, because your soul remembers even when your mind forgets. And the more you return to this truth, the more your life begins to shift. You say no to what drains you. You say yes to what aligns. You release guilt. You accept rest. You open your heart to receive, not because you've done enough, but because you are enough. Deserving does not begin with more effort, it begins with more self-love. Real, quiet, steady love, the kind that says, you are worthy simply because you are here. Chapter 5. The weight of comparison and letting it go. There is a heaviness you carry that you were never meant to hold. The weight of comparison. It creeps in quietly, scrolling, watching, measuring your life against another's highlight reel. It whispers, you're behind. You're not as good. Look how far ahead they are. And before you realize it, you've left your own path. You're no longer living from truth. You're living from comparison. It's exhausting. It's endless. Because the more you compare, the more you forget yourself. Your inner light grows dim under the shadow of someone else's life. But here's the truth. Their path is not yours. Their timing is not yours. Their success is not your failure. You were not made to be like anyone else. You were made to be you, and that is more than enough. Imagine standing in a crowded room filled with mirrors, but none of them reflect your true image. They show everyone else, filtered, posed, curated. And in the middle of all that noise, you forget what your own reflection looks like. This is what comparison does. It distorts your sense of self. But you can step away. You can choose to leave that room. You can walk into the quiet, where only one mirror stands, and it reflects you as you are, raw, honest, beautiful, real. When you see your own journey clearly, you no longer need to borrow someone else's, and the weight you've been carrying begins to fall away. Letting go of comparison isn't about ignoring others. It's about honoring yourself. It's about shifting your gaze inward. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into comparison, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what am I really seeking right now? Often, it's not envy, it's longing to feel enough, longing to be seen. When you recognize that, you can respond with compassion instead of self-judgment. You can say, I see you. I know this hurts, but we're okay. We're on our own path. And slowly, the need to measure fades. You begin to celebrate others without diminishing yourself. You begin to trust your timing. You begin to feel free. Chapter 6. Letting go of the old story. We all carry stories, quiet narratives that live beneath our actions, shaping how we see ourselves and what we believe we deserve. Some of these stories were handed to you when you were too young to question them. Stories like, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I don't belong, I have to earn love. Over time, these stories become truths in your mind, not because they are real, but because they are familiar, and so you begin to live inside them, even when they hurt. You shrink when you should shine, you settle when you want to soar, and somewhere deep inside, a part of you whispers, this isn't who I am. That whisper is your soul, gently inviting you to let go of the old story, not with shame, but with compassion. Letting go does not mean forgetting, it means freeing yourself from what no longer serves you. Imagine you are holding a heavy coat, one that doesn't fit anymore. You've worn it for years. It kept you warm once, maybe even safe. But now, it's too tight. It itches, it holds you back, and still you hesitate to take it off, because it feels like a part of you. But it isn't. It never was. It was a survival layer, and now it's time to release it. To hang it up gently, to say, thank you for getting me this far, but I don't need you anymore. And in that release, your shoulders relax, your breath deepens. You remember who you are beneath the weight. One way to begin shedding the old story is through journaling. Find a quiet space, take a breath, and write this prompt. What story have I been telling myself that no longer feels true? Let the words come freely. Don't filter them. Don't judge them. Just let them rise. Then ask, who might I be without this story? This question is not about rushing into a new identity. It's about creating space. Space for truth, for softness, for Your new story isn't something you need to invent. It's already inside you, buried beneath the fear, waiting to be remembered. Chapter 7. Creating space to receive. You cannot pour water into a cup that is already full, and in the same way, you cannot fully receive what you deserve if your inner world is crowded, filled with old pain, unspoken resentment, constant doing, and the noise of everyone else's expectations. Deserving is not only about asking, it's about making space. quiet space, emotional space, space to receive with openness instead of tension, grace instead of fear. But the world teaches you to keep moving, faster, louder, fuller. You are praised for your productivity, not your peace. And so your life becomes crowded, your mind, your heart, your calendar, all overflowing. But somewhere within the fullness you begin to crave the opposite. You long for emptiness, not the kind that leaves you hollow, but the kind that sets you free. Creating space to receive is not about removing everything. It's about making room for what matters. Imagine your life as a garden. Some parts are overgrown, others are neglected. Some weeds look like flowers, but they drain the soil. To receive new growth, you must tend to your soil. You must clear what no longer blooms. That might mean saying no to things that exhaust you, stepping back from roles that no longer feel aligned, pausing, even when the world says go. And as you create that space, through silence, breath, rest, you open your arms to life again, not with force, but with readiness. One way to create space is through mindful pause. Set aside just 5 quiet minutes. No noise, no phone, just you and your breath. As you inhale, say silently, "I welcome what is mine." As you exhale, whisper, "I release what no longer belongs." Do this slowly, do this often. The more space you create, the more your nervous system calms, the more your intuition speaks, the more your energy becomes magnetic. You stop chasing, you start attracting. You begin to live in harmony with what wants to come to you, not out of desperation, but out of deep alignment. You deserve not only to receive, but to receive with ease. Chapter 8. Trusting the timing of your life. There's a quiet ache that lives inside those who feel they are behind, like life is moving too quickly for them to catch up. You watch others reaching milestones, finding love, creating success, and you begin to wonder, why not me? Why not now? That question grows heavy in the heart. It makes you question your path, your pace, even your purpose. But what if you're not behind at all? What if you're right on time, just on a different timeline than the one you imagine? Life is not a race, it's not a checklist, it's not a straight line. It's a rhythm, and your rhythm is sacred, even when it's slow, even when it looks different from others. Trusting the timing of your life means surrendering the illusion of control and opening your heart to the idea that maybe, just maybe, things are unfolding exactly as they're meant to. Imagine your life as a garden of seeds. Some bloom quickly, bursting into color with the first rain. Others take months, even years, before they begin to rise, but their roots grow deep in the dark, quietly, powerfully, without being seen. You would never dig up a seed just because it hasn't sprouted yet. You would water it. You would wait. And you must give yourself the same grace. Just because you can't see the bloom doesn't mean nothing is happening. Trust the unseen. Trust the quiet seasons. They are not empty. They are sacred. A gentle way to begin trusting your timing is through the practice of presence. Every time your mind drifts to what hasn't arrived yet, bring it back to what is here. Feel your breath. Notice the warmth in your hands. Place your palm over your heart and say, "I am exactly where I need to be." You don't have to rush your way into the next chapter. You can rest here, knowing that life is always working behind the scenes, aligning what you're not yet ready to hold, shaping you for what you truly deserve. When it's time, it will come, and when it comes, you'll be ready, because you waited with trust, not fear. Chapter 9. Opening the heart to receiving love. There is a place within you that longs for love. Not the fleeting kind, but the deep, safe, steady kind. Love that sees you, holds you, chooses you. But for many, that place is guarded. covered in layers of old wounds, fear of rejection, or the belief that love must be earned. You've been taught to give love freely, but to receive it? That's harder. To receive love means to let someone in, to soften, to trust. And that feels vulnerable, sometimes even unsafe. So you build quiet walls. You smile while keeping your heart protected. You say you're fine while your soul aches to be held. But you don't have to live behind those walls forever. Love, real love, begins when you gently open the door. Not wide, not all at once, just enough to let a little light in. Just enough to let yourself be seen. Picture your heart as a flower, not closed out of weakness, but out of wisdom. It closes to protect. It opens when it feels safe. You cannot force it open, but you can create the conditions for it to bloom. That begins with self-love, with speaking to yourself gently, with holding your own sadness like a friend, with whispering, "You deserve to be loved as you are, not for what you do, not for who you pretend to be." As you practice this inner softness, your heart begins to trust. It begins to unfold, slowly, safely. Receiving love starts within. Try this. The next time someone compliments you, don't deflect. Don't shrink. Just breathe it in. Let it land. Let yourself feel what it's like to be seen, to be appreciated, and more than anything, to be worthy without effort. You don't have to chase love. You don't have to perform for it. The love you're meant for will recognize your soul, not your resume. And it will meet you not where you pretend to be, but where you truly are. That kind of love, whether it comes from a friend, a partner, or the universe itself, begins by first allowing yourself to receive it. No resistance, no guilt, just open arms and an open heart. Chapter 10. Saying yes to what you deserve. There's a quiet but powerful shift that happens when you begin to say yes to what you deserve. It's a shift that starts deep within. A quiet knowing that you are worthy of peace, joy, success, and love. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. For so long you've said yes to what you thought you had to do, to what you thought you had to prove, to what others expected of you. But now you are invited to say yes to your truest desires, your deepest needs, and your fullest expression. Saying yes to yourself isn't selfish. It's an act of honoring your life, your path, your truth. It's saying, "I am worthy of good things. I am worthy of all that I have dreamed and more." Imagine standing at the edge of a beautiful garden where every flower represents a part of your potential. There are flowers of success, of love, of creativity, of peace, and they are all waiting for you to step in. But you've hesitated, thinking that you must first earn your place. You've been holding back, afraid that you'll take up too much space. But you're not here to shrink. You are here to grow, to bloom, to say yes to everything you are capable of becoming, to step into the garden and allow yourself to be nourished by the beauty and abundance that is yours to claim. To say yes to what you deserve is to trust that the universe is not withholding anything from you. It is to trust that what is meant for you will find you when you open your arms wide enough to receive it. And here's the truth. The more you say yes to what you deserve, the more you open the door for others to say yes to their own worth. You become a living example of the abundance that's possible when you honor your soul's desires. It's time to stop second-guessing, to stop dimming your light, to stop saying no to the blessings that are already waiting for you. Today, choose to say yes to the fullness of who you are. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes to your peace. Say yes to your healing. Say yes to everything that you are meant for. Chapter 11. The power of gratitude in creating abundance. Gratitude has a quiet but powerful way of shifting the energy in your life. It's a simple practice, yet it holds the key to unlocking a life of abundance. When you focus on what you already have instead of what you lack, your perspective begins to change. What you appreciate expands. What you nourish grows. Gratitude is not just a practice, it is a vibration, an energy, a frequency that aligns you with the flow of the universe. And when you align with that flow, you invite more goodness into your life. It is an invitation to receive, not because you are lacking, but because you already have enough to be thankful for. Imagine your life as a garden, and every moment of gratitude is a seed you plant in that soil. Some seeds are small, like the simple joy of a quiet morning, the smile of a loved one, or the warmth of the sun on your face. Other seeds are larger, like the love you share with friends, the work you do that brings you purpose, or the moments of peace you experience in your heart. The more seeds of gratitude you plant, the more your garden flourishes. It doesn't matter how small the seed is. What matters is the intention behind it, the acknowledgement that even in difficult moments there is something to be grateful for. A simple practice to begin growing this sense of abundance is by creating a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big, they don't have to be extraordinary, just something you can genuinely acknowledge and appreciate in that moment. As you focus on the good, you begin to change the way you see the world. You begin to notice the beauty in the ordinary, the blessings in the unseen, the abundance in the small. And the more you practice gratitude, the more your life begins to reflect that abundance. What you focus on grows. The more you give thanks, the more you have to be thankful for. Chapter 12. Releasing fear and stepping into freedom. Fear is a natural part of being human, but it is not meant to control you. It is meant to protect you, guide you, and alert you to danger. Yet often, fear grows beyond its purpose. It becomes a barrier, one that keeps you stuck, playing small, holding back from the life you deserve. Fear convinces you that you are not enough. It tells you that the risks are too great, that the unknown is too dangerous. But here's the truth. Fear is not your enemy. It is your invitation to rise. When you can face your fear, not run from it, not avoid it, you begin to see that it holds no power over you. It is a shadow, and just like any shadow, it disappears when you step into the light. The moment you choose to move forward despite the fear, you step into your true power. You step into freedom. Picture fear as a heavy cloak that you've worn for years. It is dark and suffocating. At times it feels comforting, a false sense of security. But as you walk through life, it becomes harder to breathe beneath its weight. The cloak no longer serves you, it only holds you back. Now, imagine slowly, gently peeling that cloak off. Layer by layer, each layer represents an old belief, an old fear, an old story that no longer fits. As you release each one, you begin to feel lighter, freer, more yourself. The world doesn't look so daunting anymore. The possibilities don't seem so distant. And you realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams was the fear of stepping forward. To begin releasing fear, try a simple grounding exercise. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Place your hands over your heart. As you inhale, imagine breathing in courage, strength, and clarity. As you exhale, release fear, doubt, and hesitation. Do this slowly. Do this often. With each breath, you remind yourself that fear is simply a signal, not a stop sign. And with each breath, you reclaim your power to choose, to move, to step into the freedom that has always been yours. Chapter 13. Trusting your inner wisdom. Deep within you there is a quiet voice, one that speaks with clarity, with wisdom, and with truth. It is not loud, it does not shout, it does not demand, but it is always there, steady and calm, guiding you towards what feels right for you. This is your inner wisdom, the voice that knows the way, even when the path ahead seems unclear, the voice that whispers, "You are enough." the voice that gently pulls you back when you stray too far from your center. Yet, so often, this voice is drowned out by the noise of the world, by the opinions of others, by the pressures to conform, to achieve, to be something other than who you are. But you can learn to listen to it again. You can begin to trust it, not because it's perfect, but because it is your truth. Imagine your inner wisdom as a compass, always pointing you in the right direction. But like any compass, it can get covered by the distractions of life. The more you pay attention to the noise, the more the compass gets clouded. To hear it clearly, you must quiet the external noise. You must create space. Space where you can listen, reflect, and connect with yourself. This might mean stepping away from technology, taking a walk in nature, or simply sitting in stillness for a few minutes each day. In that space, your wisdom rises to the surface. It becomes clearer, stronger, and you remember that you always had the answers within you. To begin trusting your inner wisdom, take a moment to pause and breathe. Close your eyes and feel the stillness around you. Ask yourself, what do I truly need right now? Listen for the answer. It may not come in a loud voice. It may come as a feeling, a knowing, or a soft whisper in your heart. Trust that answer. Trust that it is yours, and trust that when you follow it, you will be guided to where you need to go. Your inner wisdom is always with you, waiting to be heard. And when you trust it, you step into alignment with your truest self. Chapter 14. Living in alignment with your true self. Living in alignment with your true self is not about fitting into someone else's expectations or chasing a version of success that isn't yours. It's about returning to the essence of who you are, to that quiet knowing inside that tells you what feels right and true for you. When you live in alignment, you feel whole, connected, and at peace. Your actions flow with ease, and your choices are no longer clouded by doubt or external pressure. You begin to understand that your true self is not something to find, but something to return to. It has always been within you, waiting patiently for you to embrace it. Imagine you are a tree, rooted deeply in the earth, stretching towards the sky. Your branches are your dreams, your desires, your actions. But the roots, they are your core, your true essence. Without strong roots, your branches can't reach their full potential. Without connection to your true self, everything you do feels disconnected. Living in alignment means nurturing your roots, tending to your inner world, understanding your needs, honoring your feelings. It's through this groundedness that your branches, your life, can grow strong and wide. To begin living in alignment, start by asking yourself, what do I truly want? What feels right for me? Notice the answers that arise without judgment or fear. Honor those answers. Let them guide you. When you choose what feels right for you, you begin to align with your authentic self. And when you are aligned with your true self, you radiate a calm, confident energy that attracts everything meant for you. It is the most peaceful way to live, not chasing, but being. Chapter 15. Embracing your journey with grace. Your journey is uniquely yours. No one else walks the path you are walking, with its twists, its turns, its highs and lows. There are moments of beauty, moments of struggle, and everything in between. But through it all, there is grace. Grace is not the absence of difficulty. It is the ability to embrace every part of your journey. The joyful, the painful, and everything in between, with love, patience, and a gentle understanding that everything is happening for you, not to you. When you embrace your journey with grace, you allow each moment, each experience, to unfold without resistance. You learn to flow with life, trusting that each step is a part of a bigger picture. Imagine your life as a river, winding through valleys and over mountains, flowing effortlessly, despite the rocks and obstacles in its way. The river does not resist the rocks, it simply moves around them. It doesn't fight the current, it flows with it. This is what it means to live with grace, to trust the flow of life, to meet challenges with softness, and to understand that every twist and turn brings you closer to where you need to be. To embrace your journey with grace, begin by releasing the need for perfection. You don't have to get everything right. You don't have to rush or force things. Allow yourself to be present in each moment. When you face difficulty, remember that it is a part of your growth, and that growth is always a gift. When you embrace your journey with all its imperfections, you open yourself to the peace that comes from trusting that every experience is guiding you to where you are meant to be.